Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Zones Effective Speaking Competition for 2022. Thank you for joining us. My name is Leslie Bennett. I am a current director with SKACL Cadet League. I was a cadet myself at 248 Golden Eagle Squadron in Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, which actually is a squadron that doesn't exist anymore. I have two grown children who graduated cadets at 41 Hercules here in Regina, Saskatchewan. It is my pleasure to introduce the MC for today's event, Pearl Barnes. Pearl was an air cadet in 675 Bow Valley Squadron from 2011 to 2017, and she was an avid effective speaker during these years. She went on to be in the national competition in 2015 and 2016, and was the 2016 national winner. She has a passion for effective speaking and has used her effective speaking skills many times in her life. In selection boards, job interviews, improvisational theater, and guest speaking at events. Pearl especially relies on her impromptu speaking skills now, as she currently works as a substitute teacher in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. She's currently a volunteer at 702 Lynx Squadron in Saskatoon. I think that the fact that Pearl is volunteering her weekend to MC for this competition is a testament to the cadet program and the effective speaking program. So I thank you very much, Pearl, and I will let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Good afternoon and welcome, cadets, judges, and guests. I would like to welcome you all to the second annual virtual Saskatchewan Zone Effective Speaking Competition. My name is Pearl Barnes, and I will be your MC today. At this time, I would like to acknowledge what treaty lands we're on today. Because we're online, many of us are in different treaty territories, but please take a moment today to pay respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of the land on which you reside. There are 10 cadets participating in this year's Zone Effective Speaking Competition from all over Saskatchewan. Today, we have 5 participants, and tomorrow the remaining 5 will compete. The top 3 speakers from each day will move on to the provincial competition on April 9th. Before we begin, I just have a few housekeeping rules. Obviously, Michelle already mentioned it, but out of respect for the speakers, we ask that judges and audience members please remain muted during this competition. No photographs or screenshots are to be taken during the competition. Don't worry, this is being recorded and the video will be available to you on the Saskatchewan Air Cadet League website. As well, at the end of the competition, you will have the opportunity to take photos and or screenshots of your cadets. For parents, please decide prior to the speech beginning if you would like to turn your videos on or off. Once the speeches begin, please do not turn your camera on and off mid-speech or move around too much out of respect to the speaker. Those entering late today will be admitted in between speeches. And finally, for parents and visitors, most of you have already done this, but please rename yourself on Zoom to have a V in front of your name, so that we can easily see all speakers in order that they appear. You can rename yourself by going to the participant list at the bottom of your screen, finding your name, and clicking on the More button. This competition will consist of a prepared speech as well as an impromptu speech from each cadet. The prepared speeches will be done first and are 5 to 6 minutes in length. After each cadet has done their prepared speech, we will have a 10-minute intermission followed by the impromptu speeches. Cadets will have 3 minutes to prepare their impromptu speech and 2 to 3 minutes to deliver it. The speakers today will not know the topic of their impromptu speech until they are given their 3 minutes to prepare. Between speeches, we will have a 2 to 3 minute break for judges to mark. The order that the cadets are presenting has already been decided, and this order will be reversed for impromptu speeches. At the end of the competition, after the completion of both prepared and impromptu speeches, the scores will be tallied and we will announce the top 3 names. These top 3 cadets will then continue to the provincial competition. The first place winner of that competition will compete at nationals. Are there any questions from the judges before we begin? I guess you're all muted, but if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand at any time. Okay, and with that, I'll let Michelle figure out how to get cadets into different areas so that we just have our speaker number 1 in the meeting.
Well, there is the extra slide that just gives a hint as to what could be some of the topics that you'll hear from some of these cadets today. So from that list, you can see what is their experience to be engaged in this post-COVID world. Is there a heightened interest in the aerospace industry, and more on that available. Each cadet will have have their topic mentioned a little bit later, or through their speech, you'll understand what most of it will be. Just checking the other slide. And you've already covered the extra bit next, which is that again, it provides the opportunity for cadets to increase their self-confidence, citizenship component, and so on and so forth. I will just leave this up for a few seconds. And at this time, cadets, you should be able to find on your list the 4 squares for breakout room. Please enter the one called Sequester All Cadets. The supervisor will get in there first, and only 4 of you, so speakers 2 through 5, should be entering that one. No other individuals need to leave. All other visitors will remain here in the main session. All right, our 4 speakers and supervisor have entered all cadets.
Fantastic. Well, let's begin with the prepared speeches for today. Speaker number 1, would you please turn on your mic and let us know, are you ready?
There we go.
All right, test again, please.
Testing.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I would like to introduce Sergeant Masilela of 702 Lynx Squadron, speaking on the topic, is effective speaking still relevant today in a society where social networks dictate the pace of information? Whenever you're ready, Sergeant Masilela.
In the words of Jim Rohn, words do 2 major things. They provide food for the mind and create light for understanding and awareness. Good afternoon, judges, facilitators, officers, and distinguished guests. I'm Sergeant Masilela, and today I'll be exploring the question, is effective speaking still relevant today in a society where social networks dictate the pace of information? The world we live in has changed significantly over the last couple of decades. The rise of digital technology has significantly transformed how we go about so many of our activities, including the way we approach public speaking. In the past, unless you spoke to people directly, you had virtually no way to get your message across regardless of your freedom of speech. Now we can use social media to get our message across to thousands or even millions of people unabridged, as well as being able to search up almost any topic you want and instantly finding thousands of information sources. First, I'd like to discuss exactly what social media is. Social media is any multimedia that helps users easily build and post content with the public or a select few. Social media as a medium of communication in the world today has tremendous importance. With its help, information, ideas, knowledge, cultures, and philosophies can flow freely from one part of the world to another. Some may argue that all aspects of social media are bad, but I beg to differ. Right now, you're probably thinking, great, another Gen Z kid that's obsessed with their phone. And while that's partially true, personally, I value social media because it's always been a constant way for me to connect with my family overseas, as well as building new connections with people who have similar interests. Social media is also very convenient to stay updated about what is happening around us. We don't need to wait for a newspaper to give us information because of various news-related applications that can instantly update us about almost anything happening in the world. In relation to public speaking, social media has given many people a platform to share their voices when they otherwise may not have been able to, especially the younger generation. Teenagers speaking out has often been disregarded by older populations. Some may say that their opinions are not important or that they shouldn't be taken seriously, but social media has proven that you can learn and grow from almost anyone in any walk of life. And while social media has had many social and economical benefits, there's no ignoring the toll it has taken on the way we communicate. Humans are social creatures. Our brains are hardwired to seek out and strengthen relationships with members of our tribe. We communicate using multiple channels: outer appearance, voice tone, body language, and word choice. With social media, the vast majority of communicating happens via text and occasional still images. This form of communication is desolate compared to the rich signals and complex messaging that occurs in a face-to-face conversation, which is one of the reasons I enjoy watching people give speeches. Effective speaking is important to humanize a story and bring words to life. While there are some very talented individuals who are able to move people through words on a screen, nothing compares to observing how someone's body language and tone of voice can completely captivate a room, or in our case, a virtual call. Creative interpretation is also something that effective speaking has that social media is lacking. You could give two people the same prompt or even the exact same speech, but their interpretation and delivery of it could be polar opposite. While effective speaking is beneficial to the audience, there's also many advantages for the speaker. Public speaking is a great way to further personal development on many levels, since improving communication skills is helpful in every area of life, personal and professional. I believe that having a space to share your thoughts and ideas is crucial to development, which I can vouch for. I've always been talkative and opinionated, and some of the most memorable moments of my childhood have been debating topics with my parents, friends, and frankly, anyone who cared to listen to the strange theory or idea that I decided to explore that day. Public speaking comes naturally to some, but for most of us, it's a talent developed over time. The confidence and critical thinking that it imparts can boost your leadership and hone your overall personality. From building confidence to critical thinking skills, public speaking is showing yourself that with practice, you can do the things that scare you the most while affecting others in a positive way. Public speaking has a long history as a catalyst for nonviolent activism and political change. It's a powerful way to unite people under a common cause and motivate others to take action. It's no secret that people throughout history have used the power of public speaking to make a difference. From Nelson Mandela to Emmeline Pankhurst, powerful philanthropists and activists have not always had a way to reach many people at once, but continue to share their messages anyway. It's not enough to have a message. You also need to figure out how to tailor that message to fit the needs of your audience, which is an outstanding trait about these speakers. Their speeches are timeless and have motivated and impacted many different generations, and undoubtedly will continue to do so in the future. It's amazing the legacy you can leave behind because of what you say when you have the opportunity. In conclusion, I believe that effective speaking is still relevant and will be for centuries to come. And while social media is a wonderful tool, nothing compares to the impact a good speech can have. You'll hardly ever have a better opportunity to speak to captivate an audience about what really matters to you. Our shared thoughts and opinions are not only what sets us apart as individuals, but what brings us together as a community. You'll get a chance to influence not only your peers, but maybe even a stranger. You won't change the world with every speech, but you can easily impact someone in some small way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Masilela. We'll give the judges a couple minutes to mark, and then we will move on to the next speaker. Judges, whenever you're done marking and ready for your next speaker, feel free to give me a thumbs up with your little reaction button. Fantastic. Then we will call speaker 2 into this main session. All right, speaker number 2, are you ready?
I am ready, yes.
Fantastic. Speaker number 2, we have Warrant Officer Sinnead Barnes from 675 Bow Valley Squadron. This speech will be a cadet choice. It has to fit into one of the following categories: cadet life, science and technology, aviation, Canadian history, or citizenship. Whenever you're ready, speaker number 2.
Life is about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. This quote by George Bernard Shaw really stands out to me. The people and places you surround yourself with help define who you are. In my case, the Air Cadet program and the people I've met along the way help define me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Warrant Officer 2nd Class Sinnead Barnes. I'm in my last year of Air Cadets at the 675 Bow Valley Air Cadet Squadron, and today I'm going to tell you how the Air Cadet program has affected my life thus far. I joined the Air Cadet program in the fall of 2016, but that's not when my interest in cadets started. I became fascinated with the program at age 7. My older sister joined cadets 5 years before I did, and when she joined, my mom became involved in the parent committee. And because my sister was, and still is, my idol, I wanted to tag along to her events. So my mom would let me come and watch the cadets do their thing. I was intimidated by all these older kids in blue uniforms and loud boots, but when I saw them on the parade square, in the zone, I wanted to be them. I wanted to look and feel that important. I wanted to be a part of that group of people, so polished, so powerful. At least I thought they were powerful. The Air Cadet program got a hold of me at a young age, and it never let go. Over the past 6 years, cadets has been a major part of my life. I go to school, hang out with my friends, take weekly piano lessons, but all of those things take a backseat to my cadet life. Okay, school comes first, but for me, cadets come second. I've only had one part-time job over the summer when cadet camp was virtual. I haven't had time for jobs with my busy schedule. My mom always says, you have your whole life to work, but you have limited time with cadets. That makes me feel better about not having a job. Yes, it would be nice to have some extra money to help me get through university, but the experiences I've had with cadets are worth more than money. I've gotten opportunities that I probably wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for cadets. I've traveled to different provinces for camps. I've gone gliding and flying for free as learning opportunities. I've been able to lead and make music with our band. All of these things were made possible because of the cadet program. Cadets isn't just marching around and yelling orders. We don't just sit in classrooms all night talking about the military. Yes, this is a respectable program that teaches responsibility and leadership, but it's also a program to bring youth together. I've made countless friends through the cadet program, friends that I plan on keeping in my life forever. I met my best friend at cadet camp. We were only there for 3 weeks, about 3.5 years ago, but he has remained a part of my life since then. The cadet program has given me many opportunities to improve and grow over the past 6 years. For example, the effective speaking program has allowed me to become more comfortable speaking in front of audiences, as well as improve speech writing and overall presenting skills. Effective speaking is very important, even in our virtual world today. Even though most events are virtual, it's still important to have the skills of public speaking. Being in cadets has also made me a more social person. I try to include everyone and make people feel comfortable and safe, especially new cadets who may not know anyone in the squadron yet. I love meeting new people and making friends, and cadets is an amazing setting to do that. Some of the most interesting people I know I've met through the cadet program. In my 6 years of cadets, I have made many memories, but one of my favorite memories is the moment that I knew this program was going to change my life. At the end of the second year, I was made the drum major of our band. I was only in my third year when I was given the responsibility of leading our band, most of which were first years at the time. I was in charge of helping them learn their music, teach theory, and make sure everything runs smoothly. During the first parade night that our band took part in, after I became drum major, I felt so powerful and in my element. I loved being in front of what I was able to call my band. Calling that first command, Bishop Flight, a 10, shun, and having everyone listen to me sent chills down my spine. This is what I've wanted. Ever since my first year, I've wanted to be the drum major. I've wanted to march in front of our band, calling commands, being the leader. That first experience gave me so much confidence. From then on, I was able to practice my drill voice, feel more comfortable talking to my superiors, and overall feel comfortable being in a position of leadership and decision-making. The Air Cadet program has affected my life in many ways, more than I can fit into a 5-minute speech. And although my last couple years in the program weren't what I thought they were going to be, I cannot stress enough how grateful I am to have experienced them. The past 6 years have been incredible for many reasons, and a lot of those reasons are cadet related. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Mae West said that, and I agree. I have my whole life ahead of me, a whole life of adventures and chapters waiting for me, and I'm excited to start those chapters. I can't wait to move on to the next step of my life. But the Air Cadet program is a chapter of my life that will forever have a special place in my heart.
Thank you very much, speaker number 2. Judges, whenever you're ready, give me the thumbs up and we'll call in our next speaker. All right, we will call back in our third speaker for the day. Fantastic. Welcome, speaker number 3. Are you ready?
I think so.
Awesome. Okay, our third speaker is Sergeant Abigail Lewis from 624 Tisdale Squadron, speaking on the topic, what is the impact of social medias on youth? Whenever you're ready, speaker number 3.
Honestly, I'm addicted to my phone. Most mobile phone users check their phone up to 63 times daily, according to Slick Text. This afternoon, I'm going to be talking about the impacts of social media on today's youth. Parents all react to their teens and children being on social media differently. I know my parents sometimes tell me to go touch the grass, especially in the summer. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, honorable judges, and fellow cadets. I am Sergeant Abigail Lewis with 624 Tisdale. The impacts of social media can be both positive and negative, though people tend to focus on the negatives. The ideas I will be presenting today are bullying on social media, how people stay connected through social media, and just how addictive social media can be. We've all heard of it. Schools try their best to prevent it, but in the end, it's still bullying. Truth be told, I have personally been a victim of cyberbullying in the past. The first time it happened, I had no clue of what I should do. I panicked, and it only took one message for her to get angry at me. Or something I didn't even know I did, and I barely even talked to her, too. Now, looking back, I should have just ignored the message and continued on with my day. While cyberbullying is one way to bully on social media, another is hate comments. Hate comments are just as bad and can be even worse than normal bullying. Whatever you say normal is for bullying. They're public, anyone can see them, reply to them, like them, or even share them. There are many ways to respond to hate. I've seen these 2 women on YouTube that make hate comments into songs. One of these women is Madeline Bailey. She makes music with real comments she gets daily. Madeline even went on to America's Got Talent with her songs. She made it onto the semifinals. She has taken a negative response and creating a positive outcome. Not only that, but Madeline has done this to create awareness for others. All of this started with this song about hate. Bullying has a negative impact that happens and affects teens. Schools focus lots of their time on the impacts of bullying and social media. However, it does raise awareness. Human connection is not only good for your mental health or your physical health, but it's good for your mental health. During 2020, when we had a social distance, making social interactions limited, social media provides us with that connection that we couldn't receive any other way. I have no family living in Saskatchewan, as they're all in different provinces. The only way to contact them was by text, call, or FaceTime. My father's mother, my Nana, who lives in Ottawa, she barely had any contact with the outside world, so I made an effort every so often to FaceTime her. That was one of the ways I preferred to contact her. Also, my friends didn't want to risk getting their family sick, so I had to rely on Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok to keep them in the loop of my life. Social media provides accessibility for me and others. It is estimated that 330 million people suffered social media addiction in 2021. The percentage of people feeling somewhat addicted is 40% among those aged 18 to 22. Our society has grown around technology, and social media is the biggest part of technology. We typically don't pay attention to how much we use our phones. To keep users engaged as much as possible, social media sites like Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram utilize the same brain circuit as gambling and recreational drugs. An estimated 27% of youngsters who spend 3 or more hours each day on social media show signs of mental health concerns. My average phone use in a day is 8 hours. I'm slowly trying to find better things to do with my time, so as an adult, my free time isn't spent on my phone. Social media has different impacts on youth, and the results can be both positive or negative. While bullying and addiction are negative outcomes that social media, while bullying and addiction are negative outcomes of social media, connection can be a positive outcome. Connection can be a positive result that outweighs the negatives. Why should we care about social media though? Well, social media impacts our future and how will we build. Many people's lives have been impacted by social media's presence in the real world. Social media is so good that the results of its presence is negative. Once again, I am Sergeant Abigail Lewis with 64 Tisdale. As you reflect on how you interact with social media, it might not hurt to remember this quote by Alex Twu, a British entrepreneur, who once said, "You are what you tweet."
Thank you very much, speaker number 3. We will give our judges a few minutes to do their marking on their sheets, and then we will move on to speaker number 4. Okay, it looks like all the judges are ready. So we will invite speaker number 4 into the main session. Hi, speaker number 4. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Okay. Speaker number 4 is Corporal Acorn from 38 Anavets Squadron in Prince Albert. And they will be speaking on a cadet choice topic. It must fit into one of these categories: cadet life, science and technology, aviation, or Canadian history or citizenship. Whenever you're ready, speaker number 4, take it away.
Women can't vote. Women can't own land. Women can't get a high education. Women aren't people. Now, if this was even a century ago, all these statements would be true. It's crazy thinking that women were not seen as a valuable opinion, a voice, only a pretty face, a body. I want you to think of an important female in your life: yourself, your mom, a sister, grandma, whoever, and think that in another time, they would only be valued on their ability to produce offspring or by the man that they marry. Canada, our beautiful, diverse, accepting, and equal country, was once run by the white man of wealth, education, and status. Coming back to the present, I am proud to stand here as a female myself speaking about this. I have every opportunity and choice as a man next to me. If I want to own land under my name, I can. If I want to be a neuroscientist, I can. If I want to simply vote, I can. Now that female you were thinking about, they can too. Women now have that choice, but it didn't come overnight. Me being able to simply say I have a choice came from years of fighting from strong women of our nation's past. This is Canada's history for women. The earliest step towards equality was the Married Women's Property Act of 1885. This act legally allows women to enter legal agreements and buy property. Before this act, women had to have their husband's permission to engage in any business regarding property, even ones she had possession of before marriage. And if a woman was not yet married, her father or closest male relative had that control. Even in the case of divorce or death, the estate still couldn't be placed under the woman's name just because she was a woman. The next step was the long overdue amendment to the Criminal Code, which criminalizes the kidnapping of women in 1909. Before this, if a girl was over the age of 16 and was not an heiress, abduction was legal. Can you believe that? Because I can't. That female you were thinking of earlier, think of her again. She would have to live in the constant fear of being taken, and that if she got taken, no punishment would be placed. It was so common that it became part of the normal. At the time, the penalty of stealing a cow or other livestock was much higher than for kidnapping a woman. Next, in 1916, women started to be given the right to vote. It started with the Military Voters Act, which gave women serving in the army or those with a close relative serving the right to vote. This sparked the movement to permanently allow women the choice on the political leader of their country. The suffragist movement was run by Nellie McClung, a school teacher and activist from Alberta. She said that feminist virtues are a good enough cause for reforms. Manitoba and Saskatchewan gave the right first in 1917. By 1918, all Caucasian women were able to vote federally, but it was in 1960 that Aboriginal women were given this right. But it was in 1929 when maybe the biggest event towards equality happened. The famous five, Henrietta Mere Edwards, Nellie McClung, Louise McKinney, Emily Murphy, and Irene Parlby, petitioned and protested for the change to the British North American Act. The major achievement led to women being able to finally identify as people. Before this act, women were considered subhuman and were not addressed as a person. After the addition to the BNA, not only could women legally be persons, they could also hold office for the Senate. It was a year later that Corinne Wilson was elected to be the first woman in the Senate. Next, in 1956, the Female Employees Equal Pay Act was launched. This promoted the urge for equal pay between female and male coworkers. The act states that employers must pay the same wage to a woman that they would give to a man in the same position. Sadly, this act is still neglected. In modern day, some women still get paid an average 20% less for the same job. Think about it. A man and a woman go to the same university, get the same training, work the same hours at the same level of completion, yet women still get paid less. With recent pushes, this statistic is gradually decreasing, and hopefully in the near future, this gap will also be part of the past. And finally, an event that happened only a few decades ago, in 1985, exactly 100 years after the start of women's rights, Section 15 and 28 in the Charter of Rights and Freedom came into effect, establishing the constitutional right to equality. This act declares once and for all that the government can no longer discriminate based on gender. And though at times it feels that history might repeat and we'll be back to square one, women as a whole have come a long way since the time we were heavily discriminated against. In the year 2022, I am here as a female with a passion for inspiring the women of tomorrow. Not only do I want to address the brave women in our history, I want to make history. Women can vote. Women can own land. Women can have a high education. Women are people. I am a girl, and I am proud of what my gender has accomplished for us to have the freedom of choice and the freedom of a voice. Every woman on the face of this earth is strong and independent. We can stand on our own 2 feet. May we know strong women, may we be strong women, and may we raise strong women. Thank you.
Sorry about that. My camera froze. Thank you so much, Corporal Acorn. We will give the judges a few minutes to fill in their marking sheets, and then we will move on to speaker number 5. Fantastic. And we will bring our 5th and final speaker of the day into our main meeting room. Welcome, speaker number 5. Are you ready?
Yes.
Fantastic. Speaker number 5 is Flight Sergeant Natalie Harrison of 574 Dakota Squadron. They will be speaking on the topic, should every student be required to learn at least one additional language? Whenever you're ready, Speaker 5, take it away.
If I could speak a second language, I would probably say something in that language right now, but I never had an opportunity to learn one. Good afternoon, judges and guests. I'm Flight Sergeant Harrison from 574 Dakota Squadron, and today I will be talking about whether or not every student across the country should be required to learn an additional language. According to Statistics Canada, almost 5 million children were enrolled in mainstream K-12 schools across the country during the 2019-2020 school year. Out of those 5 million students, over 2 million were in official language programs, which included core classes and immersion classes. I believe all students across Canada should be required to learn an additional language, as there are so many benefits an additional language can bring, such as enhancing your ability to multitask as you learn to switch between and think in those additional languages. It improves your memory, as you have to learn to memorize and understand different vocabularies, grammar rules, and grammar structures. You have increased cultural awareness, as you're exposed to a whole other culture surrounding that language. Research by Dr. Natalie Phillips at Concordia University found that bilingualism may offset brain damage as it increases gray matter density in the brain. More job opportunities. There's a demand for jobs in almost every language, so the more languages you speak fluently, the more opportunity there is. Having security in your identity, being proud of your languages, and the culture surrounding it. Once you learn a second language, it's so much easier to learn even more languages, and then you can take those languages and teach them to your own children. With all these benefits, there's still the question of whether or not students should begin these language classes at the elementary, middle school, or high school age. I believe that it should begin at the elementary age. Younger children are able to grasp a language way faster and can often be indistinguishable between native speakers. I remember my mom told me about how I would speak grammatically correct sentences in Spanish just because of the show Dora, although as I got older, it didn't really stick. I've also heard many other stories from people who've experienced the exact same thing. Bilingual children have more advanced cognitive development, as well as better creativity, improved memory, and other cognitive skills. When we reach puberty, our brain has lost plasticity, which makes it significantly harder to reach fluency at a level comparable to a native speaker. As I got older, it made me wish more that I had an opportunity, especially as the benefits are endless. Another thing is, one study that analyzed students in England and Poland who are learning English as a second language showed that children who learned the second language before the age of 12 were more familiar with speech patterns than their older counterparts. Many studies have also shown that children who learned additional languages at the elementary age had more confidence, as they felt like they could fully speak and understand the language. Another reason why children should learn a language in elementary school is that children are exposed to different cultures and more diversity at a younger age. Being exposed to diversity can lower racism and prejudice in a community. There are also so many community benefits to students learning an additional language. Many Indigenous Canadians lost their language due to forced assimilation through residential schools. Teaching Indigenous language in school gives a new life to a language with so many stories. Indigenous children are also able to communicate with their elders in their native tongue, which leads to strengthening community relationships. School divisions across the province are offering Cree language classes in elementary schools where there is a higher population of Indigenous students in hopes to revitalize the Cree language and strengthen the community. There are also so many advantages to having a strengthened community, including having a sense of belonging, feeling like you have a place inside of your own community, having local resources like storytelling as you learn the community history through the people who have lived through it themselves, having support and security, reaching out for help, and knowing your community is safe, as well as having so many outlets for arts and passions. These are many reasons as to why language revitalization helps with strengthening communities. Supporting these language programs also increases the likeliness of these language schools growing and continuing to teach children languages and helping the communities flourish. In conclusion, I believe that students across Canada should be required to learn an additional language. And having that language start at the elementary age has many cognitive advantages as well as community ones, which includes the revitalization of Indigenous languages. There are so many lifelong advantages an additional language can bring. As well as personally, I wish I had the chance to learn a language because of so many benefits. Over the next 5 or even 10 years, I hope that we will see more language classes being implemented across schools and school divisions. One question I have to ask is, if you could choose a language to learn today, which one would it be?
Thank you very much, speaker number 5. We will give the judges a few minutes to deliberate. Oh, actually, if this is the last speaker, Michelle, should we head into a 10-minute intermission or deliberation and then 10-minute intermission?
Let's give the judges an attempt to finish first. Then all of us will be able to take that 10-minute break at the same time.
Fantastic. Judges, let me know when you have finished your marking. Fantastic. Okay. We will now take a 10-minute intermission. Please keep yourself muted, but feel free to get up and stretch or move around in your own homes, especially cadets. Feel free to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water. We will start back up at 2:32. Before you leave, though, judges, just a reminder to send your marked scoring cards to Leslie just during that 10-minute intermission whenever you get the chance. So we will be back at 2:32. All right, welcome back, everyone. We will end our intermission there. We're now going to move on to the impromptu portion of the competition, in which cadets will have 3 minutes to prepare a 2 to 3 minute speech on a topic that they did not know ahead of time. Cadets will be put into separate breakout rooms to learn their speech topics and prepare their speeches. This will be done in reverse order, so we will start with speaker 5 and carry on from there. We are just going to take a minute to get cadets set up in their breakout rooms. And I'm also just getting word that we might need a couple more minutes to prepare that. So we'll say a couple more minutes, and then we'll be moving on to the impromptu section. Okay, judges, are you ready to start the second portion of our competition today? Give me a thumbs up in chat if you're ready to go.
Sorry, also just a quick reminder, sorry to jump in. Judges, for the impromptu, the speakers will be going in reverse. It's very important that you switch to your correct speaker name sheet as they'll be going in reverse order. So make sure that you have the correct speaker number that corresponds to who will be going. Go ahead, Pro.
Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. So just as another reminder, the impromptu portion of this competition, our speakers will be going in reverse order. Each cadet will have 3 minutes to prepare a 2 to 3 minute speech on the topic that they did not know ahead of time. Cadets will be put into separate breakout rooms to learn their speech topic and prepare their speeches. I think we are ready to go. So if the speakers can go to their relative breakout rooms. Fantastic. And we will have a 3-minute wait while our first speaker, speaker number 5, prepares their impromptu speech. Welcome back, speaker number 5. Are you ready? As soon as you can, unmute.
Yes.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready, take it away, speaker number 5.
There are so many things that exist. Some are key to survival, some aren't. Hi, I'm Flight Sergeant Harrison, and these are some of the things that I personally can't live without. First thing is my home. I've lived here for so many years, and it's where I've grown up. I just love my house. It's the best spot I could ever have. It's right next to a main road, but it's also close enough where I can walk to school. If I had that taken away, I wouldn't know where I would be, how far I would be from cadets, how far I would be from school, and how far I would be from my community. And going into that, my social life in my community, my friends from school and outside of school, my friends from cadets. And cadets is also something I can't live without. I've spent 5 years in this program. I've met so many amazing things, many people. I've experienced so many amazing things, including, well, talking to my friends. I've met people from across the country, from Yellowknife to Toronto. The music program. I personally have gone to band camp and I love it. I have my level 1 and it's the best thing I've ever gotten. Another thing is I've gotten my radio license from this program as well. And that's something you can use in the future. And my final thing is the internet. It may seem kind of crazy, but it's something I've used all my life. And it's something that's become increasingly relevant in the current years, especially with the pandemic. The pandemic has made it extremely difficult to meet people, especially with cadets. I've had to be online with cadets, and that's made it extremely difficult to even talk to people. But the internet has also let me talk and meet so many of my online friends. I have so many communities built around the things that I like. And, well, it's amazing. So the 3 things I can't live without would be my home, my social life, especially inside of cadets, and as well, the internet and meeting everybody from across the globe.
Thank you so much, Speaker 5. We'll give the judges a couple minutes to write on their marking sheets, and then we will bring speaker number 4 in. All right, we will bring speaker number 4 in to give their impromptu speech. Welcome back, speaker number 4. Are you ready to do your impromptu speech? We'll just wait until you can be unmuted. Perfect.
There. Can I just pin the timekeeper really quickly?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. There.
Feeling good? Feeling ready?
Yep.
Fantastic. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Quick. You just woke up and realized only 3 things remain in your room that you said you can't live without. And I mean only 3 things. Everything else is gone except for those items. Which 3 items would you pick? So maybe you might see a big pile of money. Maybe you see a sentimental item that means a lot to you. Maybe you see a photo book so you can remember all your memories. Maybe you see some car keys so you can still have your vehicle. But for me, the 3 things that I think I can't live without are kind of 2 needs and a want sort of situation. So food, water, and my phone. So first, the food. It's obviously a basic human need. So if I woke up and saw only 3 things remaining, food would definitely be one of those items. Specifically all my favorites. So my favorite foods, I like potatoes, I like chili, and there'd be a big plate of brownies, and I would just eat it all and I'd be pretty much set. Second, water. Water, another basic human need. And you technically can't survive without water for 3 days. So water is definitely something I can't live without. So I'd probably see a bunch of gallons of water. I do like sparkling water. So maybe we'd have sparkling water and flavored water and then just old plain Jane water. To obviously drink off of. Number 3, my phone. So my phone would be my kind of luxury item, but also definitely a need. In today's day and age, you kind of need a phone to stay up with the times. So you use your phone for a lot of things. Think of how many times you reach for your phone in a day and you'd still be able to do that, because on your phone, you can play games, you can listen to music. I love listening to music. I'm always listening to music during the day, so I would definitely need my Spotify. Google, could Google things, stuff like that, just because, I forgot something. A calculator, another thing that lots of people use. So definitely I would need a phone. It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of technology. So if I was ever in that rather unlikely situation, yes, of waking up and only being 3 things left in your room, the 3 things I personally can't live without are food, water, and my phone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Speaker number 4. We'll give the judges a few minutes to mark down on their marking sheets, and then we will move on to speaker number 3. All right, we are going to move on now to speaker number 3. So speaker number 3 will come back into this main session, and then we will hear an impromptu speech from them. All right, speaker number 3, are you ready?
Yes.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, so 3 things I can't live without. That's a good question. It took me forever to think of my last thing, but that's whatever. We'll get to that. So, I don't know if we were talking about apart from like food, water, shelter, and all that, but regardless, my first one was food. I am a food person. If I can try anything new, I will. Like, my favorite kind of food is pizza. Like, if I could eat it for like the rest of my life, I probably would. I'd probably get sick of it eventually, but it'd be something to eat. My second thing is my pillow. It's a t-shirt. A t-shirt stuffed with stuffing in it. It's my favorite thing ever, or at least close to one of my favorite things. I've had it since as long as I can remember, but I can't remember that long. So probably since I was probably about 5-ish, probably, give or take. I don't know. And it comes everywhere. My friends are probably sick of seeing it every time we have a sleepover. Like, I'll be like, I forgot something in the house. Run and grab my glasses and my pillow. And they're like, really, Abigail? You had to bring it? And of course I had to. It's my favorite thing. Helps me sleep at night. Keeps me calm, relaxed. And it's like a really soft pillow compared to all their hard pillows that they sleep with. My last thing. I could not think of this. I was like, do I want to go with how my prepared speech went and say my phone? Which, I don't need my phone. I probably could go, probably not that very long, but I probably could last a long time without my phone. So my last thing was probably my puppy, which is just a stuffy. A stuffed animal like a dog. I've had it since as long as I can remember, like my pillow. Those 2 things I could just have, and I would be the most relaxed, calm, and coziest person ever. And I always like to think that my puppy protects me, keeps me nice and warm, cozy, and it comforts me when I feel scared or sick. So food, my pillow, and my stuffy, those are probably the 3 things that I'd have to say I could not live without. If I didn't have them, I don't know where I'd be.
Thank you very much. Speaker number 3. We will give the judges a few minutes to mark on their marking sheets, and then we will bring in speaker number 2. All right, looks like we're all ready to go. We will get speaker number 2 in here to do their impromptu speech. All right, speaker number 2, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready to go, here we go.
Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Warrant Officer 2nd Class Sinnead Barnes, and the topic I was presented is 3 things I can't live without. The first thing that is something that I'm sure everyone would agree with is family. I honestly do not think I would live without my family. They are the ones who support me the most. They are the ones who love me the most. And they have helped raise me to be the person that I am sitting here in front of you today. They are the most loving people I've ever met. My mom and my sister are two of my biggest supporters in everything that I do. And that is one thing that I wouldn't give up for the world. The second thing, which again, I'm sure is no surprise, is friends. A lot of my friends I consider to be a second family to me. You know, they are there in my times of need. They are there when I need them to be. They support me. They love me. And they help create who I am. A lot of them come from the Cadet program. A lot of my friends, who I consider my second family, come from the Cadet program. The last thing that I do not think I could live without is animals. Now, I am not just talking about my own pets, although I do love them dearly and I don't know if I could live without them. But I'm also talking about animals in general. I have a great, great love for animals. I plan on going to university in the fall for animal biosciences. I want my future career to have something to do with animals. I want to be involved with animals in some way. Once again, my name is Warrant Officer Second Class Sinnead Barnes, and the three things that I don't think I could live without are my family, my friends, and animals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker 2. We will give the judges a few minutes to mark on their marking sheets, and then we will bring in our final speaker, Speaker 1. All right, it looks like all of our judges are ready for the next speaker, so we will bring Speaker number 1 back to do the final impromptu speech of this afternoon. Awesome. Speaker number 1, are you ready?
I am.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready to go, take it away.
What are 3 things you can't live without? Obvious answers to this question are things like food, water, the air we breathe. Some people may think of things that support them physically, but personally I interpreted this question as things that support me emotionally. The first thing that I picked as something that I can't live without is my piano. Some may think that music helps with stress and relieving tension, which it does, but my piano means a lot more to me. I was kind of indecisive as a child, and when my parents asked me what instrument I wanted to play, I immediately said the piano. I'm not sure what prompted this decision. I didn't have some big role model or idol that played the piano or some song that I heard that I really wanted to learn. It just is kind of what I stuck with. And ever since then, music has been very important in my life to help me with whatever I need. The second thing that I said I can't live with is my best friend. Now, most people would think of this as well, but the reason that I chose this is because no matter where you are in life, you need someone who's going to tell you the truth. Even if it hurts your feelings, or even if it's something that you don't want to hear, the truth is something that everyone needs to hear in order to advance in life. The last thing that I chose that I can't live without is my family. This is also a pretty generic answer, but the reason that I chose this was because material things isn't what bring my family together. My family immigrated from South Africa to Canada when I was only 2 years old. And no matter what the circumstance, we've always been joyful. I remember delivering newspapers in the bitter cold and in the blistering heat just to buy plane tickets to go visit our family back in South Africa. And even then, my family was singing, laughing, and smiling. Whether we're eating ramen off paper plates or at the best 5-star restaurant, what brings us together is the fact that we are family and not just the memories we make. In conclusion, I think that 3 things I can't live without are my piano, my best friend, and my family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker number 1. That is our last impromptu speech of this afternoon. We will now take some time to let the judges do their final tallying and scoring of the speakers. While that happens, I would like to talk a bit to the cadets about their time in the Air Cadet program, and then I will introduce our judges. So cadets, if you wouldn't mind joining me with your cameras on, And feel free to rename yourselves back to your rank and your name now that you're done speaking. We'd love to see what your names are and not necessarily what numbers we've assigned to you. All right, fantastic. Now, I know many of you are in different places in your cadet experiences. Some of you are graduating and others have just begun cadets. A couple of you touched on this in your speeches, but I was just wondering if you could tell us all kind of why you personally participate in the effective speaking program, why I guess you're here today. Oh, I guess they'll need permission to unmute in order to do that.
So for me, I want to be in like the effective, or I'm participating in the effective speaking competition because, just because I feel like it boosts my confidence a lot, but also, the occupation I want when I'm older, I want to be a teacher, and teachers all day public speak. So it's something that I'll be able to use in my life when I'm older. So that's like the main reason probably that I do public speaking through cadets.
Absolutely fantastic.
Okay, well, I joined the effective speaking program because, well, Pearl is the MC is actually my sister, and like Leslie said at the beginning, she participated in effective speaking, and watching her do her speeches and present them made me also want to do that, and it got me fairly excited with that. So yeah. Plus, I mean, it's a good opportunity to improve speaking skills and presenting skills and become more confident as a speaker. So yeah.
Absolutely, a fantastic reason. Anyone else like to chime in? If I've made sure to unmute you correctly.
Okay, there we go. So the reason that I wanted to join effective speaking is, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I wasn't very shy before effective speaking. So it wasn't like mostly confidence building, but I kind of have been just giving speeches when I was a child, which is kind of weird. But once I saw that it was an opportunity in the cadet program, I really jumped on it. And especially because the officers really help guide you, and there's kind of sessions and different ways that they can help you come up with new ideas and stuff. So
absolutely awesome. Just making sure I can unmute people here.
Okay, so I joined effective speaking because it was probably mid my second year or something. We started doing it, and I'm like, I want to be a part of this. And I've done it ever since. Like, I joined because of my brother, but he was not a public speaker. This was not his thing. This was my thing that was different from his thing. So we could be in the same activity, but I still had my little thing that I could say that this is my thing. It's my little activity to do inside a big activity that we both do. So I could differentiate from my brother.
Absolutely fantastic. And I think we have one more cadet. If your tech issues have resolved themselves. Hi.
Hi. I've got it fixed now. I think I joined effective speaking, honestly, just kind of as a, you know what, might as well just do it, if I'm being honest. My mom is actually does effective speaking in my squadron. And when the time came to ask who wanted to participate, I was like, sure, why not? And now I'm here.
Awesome. Fantastic. All reasons are good. It's surprising to me that there are so many different reasons that people joined. It's fantastic. I think effective speaking is important, and any reason to kind of put yourself out there and do more speaking in front of people, I think is a good reason. Judges, how are we doing on getting those final tallies marked there? I know I have a couple of judge bios that I would like to go through, and then our third judge is actually going to be speaking a little bit to the cadets themselves. So depending on where we are in the marking process, if we're okay to move on, then we might move on to the bios. Judges, thumbs up if you're ready to go. Let me know. All right, looks like they need a little bit more time. Yeah, I will say I joined the Air Cadet program. Well, I joined the effective speaking program in Air Cadets for two reasons. One, I was thinking about doing it anyways. And two, my mom said I had to. I was already in Air Cadets. And when she heard about the effective speaking program, she thought it was very, very important that I join. And I'd say she's absolutely right. At that point, I was in grade 7. I was 12 years old. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But I definitely think no matter what you're doing with your life, being able to talk in front of a group of people is never a liability. I think that's always a good thing to have in your back pocket. And I'm just glad that my mom knew that as well. As Leslie said earlier, I did effective speaking almost the whole time I was in cadets, and I definitely got better at it each year. I am so impressed to see what you all did today. I mean, goodness knows it's hard enough to do a speech that you've prepared. It's so much harder to do a speech that you're improvising. And I think it's harder still to do that in an empty room by yourself in front of a screen with hypothetical people on it. I can't imagine doing that, not really seeing any people, any of the responses, especially if your speech is funny or at all anything that you would like a reaction out of. It's a lot harder to talk to people when there is absolutely no sound or visual cues that they are hearing you. But I was happy and super impressed to see everyone come out here and do this today. I know in my first year, I don't think my impromptu speech was more than 30 seconds. I think I probably talked for 30 seconds about, the most influential people in my life, I think was the prompt. I think I said my mom, maybe my piano teacher, and that was the only two people that came to mind. So I stepped down from the podium. So very, very impressive to see what you've all done today. Judges, how are we doing? Almost finished with the tallying. I'm just getting prompts off cue, and if I need to keep rambling, I'll keep rambling, but I'll move into the next section if we're ready. All right, so I've asked about effective speaking. Now, as far as I know, Cadets is completely back in person for all of you. Is that correct? Some of you, this is your last year. Some of you have many years to come. But now that effective speaking, or not effective speaking, but now that Cadets is back in person, what is the thing that you were looking forward to the most in this year of Cadets? Now that you're back in person, what are you looking forward to? Or for the people that are continuing with their Cadets afterwards, for the people that will be in Cadets for a few more years still, what are you looking forward to moving into these next years of in-person Cadets?
I think for me, just the sense of normality, kind of, just like everyone's back in uniform, everyone's back in person, and it kind of feels like we're back to normal. Also, helping, like actually being able to help people with like drill, because that's not something you can do when you're not right next to them. So
online drill would probably be very difficult, I imagine.
Yeah, that was actually my question as to how do you guys do drill? That was one of my favorite parts of Cadets, and so is there no, I would imagine there's no, march past or anything like that. You just jump right into the lesson, or how do you start and engage that way? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, we haven't had many like online cadet nights. Like if we weren't in person, we kind of weren't meeting at all. But when we did do online, it was just kind of like if we did do drill classes, it was make sure you have an open space, make sure you're not going to hit anybody, make sure like, and it's mostly just you don't practice the actual physical marching, you practice like your turns and the little technical things and stuff like that.
Stationary drill. Awesome. Anyone else have anything to add about things that they're excited for coming up now that we're back in person, or adding on to the conversation of online cadets, how that was?
I think what Warrant Officer Barnes said too, like just the sense of normalcy being back is great. And then also, because it is my last year working with the younger cadets, I think is really fun. Like anything you ask me to do, I'm there. They're like, want to help with this class? I'm like, okay. Like kind of just being wherever I can all at once on a cadet night is fun again.
Absolutely. I love that.
And I think all of those two are kind of relate. Like one thing that nobody's really mentioned is personally, I want to get back to in-person camp because Barnes and I, we did a virtual camp for music and we never got to play together as a band, which compared to when we went to basic together was a big change, and that more individual approach to with virtual was definitely a hard spot. So I like being in a community with cadets, like having that squadron community and watching the younger cadets also grow up and mature is one thing, and watching them explore the cadet program and seeing what they like is one of the things I love seeing.
Awesome. Fantastic.
I'm like relatively new to the cadet program. It's only my second year. So I guess I'm just looking forward to getting to go to all the camps and getting higher into the leadership roles and helping the younger cadets. So that's something I'm looking forward to in the years to come.
Awesome. I know it's always so exciting when you get into those upper years and then you can be the leader and you can kind of help the younger cadets know what's going on and how to do things. That was always one of my favorite parts going into my second year, and suddenly I wasn't the newest person there. I had at least a little bit more knowledge than the people just walking through the door. So it was very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm last, probably. So what I'm looking forward is when we get back. So this week that I'm not going to be there, sadly, I'm supposed to get back and have my color party back and start figuring out my drill and who I want on my team, and got to figure out rifle drill, that's what it's called. I got to figure out who's all in that, but that's what I'm excited for, is getting my little bit of my leadership back and being able to teach the new cadets how to hold the flags properly, how to do it, how to march, how to look nice, like how to make an ACR amazing.
Absolutely. It is definitely like a sense of pride being able to kind of show off what you've learned for the community. I know that was always super fun about ACR, is that like, this is what we've done all year. Even just like how shiny our boots were, how well we were marching in sync, like little things that probably the regular community member does not even really notice. It was so awesome to be able to proudly kind of share that at ACR. I am interested to know, were there any sort of ACRs online in the past 2 years? I know each squadron was kind of doing things a little bit differently, but if anyone did do an online ACR, would you mind sharing just kind of what that looked like, how you were able to do that?
So we had it was more a presentation than cadet based, right? And we also had different awards. So it was like, who wore their uniform every week online when they didn't have to? Who attended every online meeting? It was less awards based on your drill and deportment and everything, because they couldn't really see that. So it was kind of just a different take on an ACR.
We did not do anything like that. It was kind of just like end of the year. We had like a pool party. And then we were like, yep, nope, the year's done. Goodbye. See ya.
There's a lot of different plans for different squadrons. Yeah, I can't imagine there would be a lot of awards that still applied online. So it was very cool, Sergeant Masilela, to see that your squadron still kind of recognized new accomplishments that weren't really applicable to in-person cadets. So that's really cool.
Yeah, like we had one, whoever won the most Kahoots online and everything.
Oh yeah, online Kahoots. Gosh, that would be a huge sense of pride. All right. Leslie, are we ready to move into the next portion of our afternoon?
I'm good to go if Leslie gives the go ahead.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then maybe I'll just start and just read the bios that I have for our first two judges. I'm so sorry, Marta, I didn't get your bio before we started today. But judge number 1 that we have today is Tonia Anselmo. And Tonia is a mediator holding a Master's of Arts in International Conflict Management. Tonia has worked as a youth representative for the United Nations Association of Edmonton, a human rights officer with the Alberta Human Rights Commission, and is now on family leave from her position with the Government of Canada as a Foreign Worker Program Officer. Tonia was a former Air Cadet in 1992 to 1999 with the 395 Squadron in Edmonton and staffed many summers at the Senior Leadership Course in Cold Lake, Alberta. She was a judge for the Saskatchewan Air Cadet League Effective Speaking Competition in 2021. Tonia has fond memories of participating in the effective speaking competition, understands how terrifying it can be, and wishes each candidate courage, confidence, and a clear path forward. Tonia, if you want to give us a little wave, let us know it's you. Hi, Tonia. And then we have Kayla Rein. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I pronounced everything right, but Kayla is an office manager and executive assistant at Where To Transportation and is a current volunteer with the 155 Army Cadet Corps. She is a lifelong resident of Regina and was first introduced to the cadet program 6 years ago. In her free time, she is an avid adventurer who enjoys camping, hiking, and reading whenever possible. Although still new to the cadet program, she is excited to see cadets display their effective speaking skills and hopes to learn something new while doing so. Kayla, if you want to give us a little wave or a thumbs up. Hi, Kayla.
Hi.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And our third judge is Marta Koszmider. If I said that wrong, I'm very sorry. And Marta, I believe, would like to address the cadets and audience members at this time. Marta?
Thank you very much, Pearl, our MC. I just want to give a round of applause. Like, being an MC is really, something else. Your transition into each speaker and judge was very professional. I love your stance and everything. So thank you for that. Making me feel welcome and everyone, keeping everyone on track. Yeah, definitely. We do the jazz hands because it's the universal hand sign language for clapping in our meetings. We can't hear each other clap, which is one of the sad things about Zoom. But definitely, can you imagine none of us being here or having a smaller group? It cannot be done with all the moving pieces. So definitely thank you to the people who organize this and who keep us on track. I guess it is important to try everything at least once. So definitely you won't know how you feel about effective speaking or otherwise unless you try it. So I encourage you to do that at least once to know all the different sides. And as you know, there's a lot of sides of cadets, and similarly, it doesn't move through all the moving pieces, and everyone is on a different level. But I think that makes it really great, because that way we can all assist and support each other from those different levels, and then see how each level gets there, right? Like, what are the steps? How do we get to that level? Who do we want to be? What do we want to do to get to that level? So definitely having this program is a great extension of cadets, and I'm looking forward to putting my daughter into this, because I should have been put into this when I was younger, but I was in a different country. I was in a different realm, and it just didn't work out that way. And I ended up going actually to Army band and choir, as well as Toastmasters. Now, that is where I come from. I did add my bio in the chat if you'd like to look it over. I guess it has my email as well. Then, for sure, being a part of the community is amazing as well. We always invite and very open to being a part of the community. There is a lot of programs we do from Toastmasters International in local communities. So looking forward to connecting with you on different levels for sure. And like Leslie was, just finding people, any warm body to make this run, because we can make this amazing, right? As long as everyone knows their role and what is entailed in that role, then you will know what to do. But definitely having all of you supporting my journey through this experience has been amazing. And I really appreciate how you stayed on track with each step and you kept us engaged and going. And I will pass it back to the MC, Pearl. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marta. I do have your bio if you'd like me to read it. Marta was a Toastmaster since 2015. And as a Toastmaster, she has learned and taught about professional communication and leadership to a great extent, and even furthermore than expected. One of the honorable mentions was leading a speechcraft program for a group in the University of Saskatchewan, which gave her credit towards the Distinguished Toastmasters accolade. It was amazing and inspiring for her to observe how much those students absorbed and learned to adapt to the newfound skills. She was even able to organize a creative certificate ceremony via Zoom. Today, Marta would like to expand on the importance of proper and fun contests and how they can make us all more aware of time, communication, and organization, which I guess is kind of what you just talked about. So thank you so much, Marta, for speaking. I know Leslie has been working tirelessly in the background, trying to tally all of the marking sheets. Leslie, if you wouldn't mind just letting me know if you're getting close to being done or if I still need some time. Okay. Looks like she just needs a little bit of time to get confirmation from some of the judges. I'm wondering if we should take a 5-minute break just between things, unless you'd all like to hear me keep talking. But I think we'll take a quick 5-minute intermission just to give Leslie some time to finish up those tallies, give the judges, if they have not sent her all of their sheets, time to do that. So yes, let's reconvene at 3:48. Just a 5-minute break. Feel free to turn your cameras off if you want to. Get a drink, go to the bathroom, and we will see you back at 3:48 p.m. All right, welcome back, folks. Sorry, our 5-minute break turned into a 10-minute break, but all for the express purpose of making sure we have all of those markings tallied. And it seems that we do. So without further ado, Leslie Bennett is here, our effective speaking coordinator, to do the medal presentations and congratulations of cadets. At this time, parents and or cadets, feel free to take photos or screenshots of the medals and of the cadets at this time. So you feel free to do that as this is happening. Leslie, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Pearl. You've done a great job. I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate everybody's patience while we sort through all. We want to make sure the tallying, of course, is accurate. So it involves double and triple checking. And it was really super close for third place within points. And so we had it was very close. Everybody did just a fantastic job. So I want to thank all the cadets who participated today. I know this takes a lot of effort, and with COVID and having everything be virtual, it just represents an additional challenges that you've had to face, and you've rose to those challenges, and you should be very, very proud of yourselves. I know your squadrons are very proud of you, and we're all very proud of you. I know you've also learned some very valuable skills that you'll take with you in life, and I encourage you to keep participating. All of you. All the participants today will receive a bronze pin that they can proudly wear on their uniform and a certificate of participation. So you can, that will be sent out in the mail later this month. The top 3 cadets from today will go on to participate in provincials next Saturday, April 9th at 1 p.m. And so I urge you all to join in and watch the event. So here are the results from today's competition. In third place, Flight Sergeant Natalie Harrison. Congratulations. In second place, Flight Sergeant Sinnead Barnes. And first place, Sergeant Masilela. Congratulations all. Job well done. And thank you so much to all of my volunteers. We could not have done it without you. Shout out to my husband who came down here to help me tally, even though I have COVID. He's risking his, we had our masks on, but he's risking that so we could double check and make sure everything was good. So I'm going to hand it back over to Pearl. I know she's going to end things off for us as well, but thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Congrats to all the cadets today for presenting your speeches. As a former cadet effective speaker myself, I know how difficult it can be to prepare these speeches, present them, and then be asked to come up with a completely new speech on the spot. So truly well done to every one of you. Before we end off, I would like to express my appreciation for all of the coaches, officers, judges, parents, and volunteers, and of course the cadets for making this virtual competition a success. In addition to the 3 judges I introduced earlier, we also have some volunteers in the room, our timekeeper. We have a couple of supervisors that were in the breakout rooms. And of course, we have Leslie and Michelle here today running everything from behind the scenes. I am kind of the MC, the person in the suit presenting, but I truly am not doing much at all behind the scenes. So very much thank you to all of those folks. Thank you so much for joining today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And once again, congratulations to all of the cadets who participated.